A new survey has revealed shocking widespread self-censorship and intimidation in the UK art sector. The report published by Freedom in the Arts found that cultural institutions are being increasingly governed by ideological orthodoxy, with those who speak out experience harassment and ostracism, with some even losing their careers. Joining me now in the studio is one of the authors of this report, campaigner and founder of Freedom in the Arts, Rosie. Rosie, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
Welcome back to the show.
Yes, thank you for having us. Yeah.
So, let's talk about this report. What actually gave you the idea to commission it, first of all?
So, a lot of these stories in the arts, people are kind of quite sympathetic, but people often say, oh, but that's a one-off, isn't it? And we saw in Freedom of the Arts that this was happening to so many artists. So we looked around, and there was a fantastic survey done in 2019-2020 by Arts Professional, and we actually just replicated their survey, used the same questions. Some were very open, that you could write anything you wanted, some were closed questions. And it gave us an ability to compare what the situation was like in 2020, where certain issues were coming up, and we can now demonstratively prove that the situation has got much worse in the prevailing 5 years.
So, the people who were sort of targeted in this report, are we talking about artists or the artistic institutions, or both? We
put it out to anyone that works in the arts. So that meant that we had a huge range of people on the survey responses, a large amount of artists across all art forms, arts workers, so that's people that are arts administrators, managers, producers, but we also had a kind of surprisingly number of, say, board members and sort of CEO and director, like very senior arts people as well. So we kind of managed to get quite a spectrum of opinions and views.
And were there particular topics that kept on coming up that were the hot potatoes?
Yes, without doubt, by far the worst, which, like, vast majority of respondents said that anything to do with gender-critical views, trans ideology, was basically, as one person said it, career suicide. That can lead to bullying, harassment, shunning, ostracisation, and many women have lost their jobs over just expressing, as we know now, completely legal views around sex and gender. Also, any sort of criticism to do with inclusion or DEI could lead to accusations of racism. So this includes even just questions about the methodology around certain sort of philosophies, particularly like critical race theory. And then, of course, as you've already mentioned tonight, the third topic that has become huge since October 7th is Israel-Palestine and the conflict in the Middle East. The majority, I mean, over a quarter of respondents said that was such a hot topic that you're not allowed to express views supporting Israel. But there were a very tiny minority of people that said actually you'd get into trouble if you had pro-Palestine views.
This video is sponsored by Saily. Saily is a brand new eSIM service app. What it does is get you a local SIM card that you can use when you're traveling, so you don't have to pay those crazy roaming fees just to send a text back home. They've got eSIM plans in over 160 countries and 8 regions. So pretty much wherever you're going, they'll be able to make sure you're connected. So how does it work? Well, all you've got to do is hit our link in the description to download the app. It will work on iOS or Android. Buy a plan, you can choose the best time frame for you, and then just install the eSIM on your phone. When you land at your holiday destination, you can activate your plan instantly. Saily eSIMs only ever have to be installed once, so when you go on your next trip, you just buy a plan for a new country, turn that eSIM back on, and just like that, you could be watching the GB News YouTube channel. You can be connected anywhere you go, and you don't have to deal with patchy Wi-Fi in your hotels. So get sorted for your next trip by downloading Saily using the link in the description below, and if you use our code NEWS at checkout, you'll get an exclusive 15% discount on us.
Interesting. So this is the situation. I think the arts are somewhat unique in that maybe job security is less tenable, or more they're more insecure in terms of...
You've got like a real dichotomy going on in the arts, because on the one hand there's very little employment legislation to protect artists. They're often freelance, commission, part-time work, but on the other you absolutely depend on your reputation. So even an accusation or a smear can mean that your job opportunities dry up, the commissions don't come, offers are rescinded.
There's a lot of word of mouth.
Exactly, and it's quite a small nation. So you get cancelled not because of like the quality of your art or your historical ability in the arts. You get cancelled because of your personal views now. And let's be honest, these are mainstream views shared by the majority of the population, are being discussed on a national level, on a governmental level, and for artists to not even be allowed to discuss them, never mind make work about these issues, is a very stifling environment.
Well, that's, you know, I come from, my background's in comedy, and that's what we've seen over the last 10 years, where it's insane. Like, certainly because comics are meant to be vocal about the inconsistencies of life and pointing out the hypocrisies, and they've just been totally silent. So many peers, and meant to be brave as well, yet have sort of been shunned into this silence and fear of talking about, as we talked about, gender ideology. Or they'll talk about Israel, but it'll be always the default Israel are the bad guys, and then that goes along with the narrative.
But you've put your finger on it. I mean, the word fear was used like hundreds and hundreds of times. We have even started to look at, like, I don't think self-censorship really sums up just how serious this is. If it's self-censorship, it sort of makes you think that artists are just kind of keeping their heads down. It's actually much worse than that. It's really clear if you do speak out, you will be punished. We've got terrible lessons. My own experiences, women are held up as lessons, like this is how much we can destroy someone and pull you down.
Yeah, I mean, do you think the situation is changing at all? I mean, how does the situation change? I mean, I think culturally it's changed, but it still feels like the arts, weirdly, the arts which are kind of meant to be at the forefront of talking about cultural issues, actually still feel very much like a year ago.
I think the arts really are in a bit of an echo chamber, and this kind of ideology seems to have been absorbed into the bones, and the arts and the artists are censoring each other. It's really coming from within. It's not actually even just the funders anymore. It's artists against artists and arts workers against arts workers. So how do we change it? First of all, speaking about it is really important. By doing that, we're breaking the kind of like the spell. Asking arts organisations to bring back impartiality, bringing in statements around protecting freedom of expression, having institutions actually protect artists and say that we are open to controversial views and not abandoning them. And I think organisations like ourselves, Freedom in the Arts, where you can download the report, and things like Free Speech Union, where we've now got a performers fund, we've now got organisations out there that can help protect artists.
Okay, well, on a more positive note, you're dancing again. I saw a clip of you. It was very beautiful and moving and stuff. So you're back on tour? We
start tour this week. We're going to be in Southampton on Friday and Saturday night. We premiere A Thing of Beauty. So A Thing of Beauty is a joy forever. So it's a double bill of work, a solo that I'm performing in, adult female dancer, funnily enough, and a trio of female dancers in a piece called Fantasia. So we're doing Southampton, Blackpool, Grand, and Northern Ballet in Leeds. So please come and support.
Amazing. So what, are you allowed to say break a leg to dancers?
Break a leg is fine, you can't say good luck.
OK, there we go. We'll break a leg then. Thank you very much. That is the campaigner and founder of Freedom in the Arts and dancer, Rosie Kay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.